Hello there everyone, welcome back to another video about the One Piece card game. Today I'm going to be giving you my deck profile for OP04 Trafalgar Law, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about the deck. It's basically one of, if not the best decks in the game, as it basically always has been, and I don't think it's going to be losing that status anytime soon. Fundamentally, what the leader does is just so good, and the tools it got in the first set and second set are just so good on their own, that I just don't really see it leaving the meta anytime until maybe set 7, although it's looking like it's going to be getting a buff in set 6 at the time of recording, with a potential new Zoro, so we'll see what happens. But anyway, so if you don't know what this leader effect does, what's wrong with you? So you can pay 2 if you've got a full board, bounce one card, bounce a character, and then play a character of the other colour than the one you bounce with a cost of 5 or less. So you're cheating stuff out for basically saving 3 Don. The fact you can do this early means that you are just able to really do some insane things and really get ahead of your opponent. So that's the leader. And I think we'll go with sort of the core first, which I think is just really standard. So 4 copies of Blocker Law. You just can't play this deck without this card. I wouldn't bother. This card is nutty. So what it does is, on play, you can bounce one of your characters to your hand and then play a character with a cost of 3 or less from your hand. So that's the deck is basically designed around flooding with cheap units and then suddenly playing out 5s and cheaper. And this is a blocker. This is 6k as well, and you want to be aggressive with it too. You don't just want to be only saving it to block. Absolute staple. 4 copies of Restand Law. It's criminal that this card does not have an alt art yet. This card is crazy. It's a 5/6 with a 1k counter, with an on-play to set one of your Supernova or Heart Pirate type arrested characters with a cost of 5 or less as active. So, yep, absolutely crazy. Lets you secure lethals out of nowhere, in particular with the final 5-drop we play at the moment, which is Monkey D. Luffy. I truly apologise for not having alt arts of these. I will get them soon. This is the only other deck in the game I'm going to fully alt art, because it's just really good and I really enjoy it. And it got me this playmat. Anyway, so this is a 5/6 with Rush, and Don 2 when attacking your opponent cannot activate Blocker during this battle, so you slap 3 Dons on it, swing 9, restand it, swing 9. And usually that is enough to close out a game when your opponent is low on resources. Yeah, this card's just very powerful. Then I play 3 copies of Rush Zoro. This card is obviously very good. It's a 3/5 with Rush. Hard to say that isn't very powerful. Yep, just aggro. And you can obviously swing with it, bounce it back with this, swing with it again. And then I play 1 copy of Starter Deck Law. This is just a little annoying. It's 1 Don 7k, which is really efficient. But also it is a 6k on your opponent's turn, which is really nice as well for the cost. Just generally quite a good card. Not as good as I think it used to be. I think, you know, as long as you're playing at least 1, it's fine. It's just a nice option to have. Then I'm playing 2 Vista. I think you do need to be playing Vista at the moment, because the mirror is almost inevitable. It's going to happen. You need this card for the mirror. It's also very good into other red decks like Zoro. Honestly, there's a really compelling argument to bump this Vista up further, and it will. Your win rate in the mirror will basically scale with the amount of Vistas you're playing. So you will win like significantly more Vistas, if significantly more matchups if you're just consistently seeing the Vista. So it's one of those things where it probably is worth just, you know, bumping up. But at the moment I'm playing 2 because you know, a lot of the laws I play against also were just not as good, so you can outskill them. Okay, then we've got 4 copies of Sanji. This is a staple at the moment because you want to be able to take your life and be aggressive again into some of your worst matchups. This is like an MVP against Rebecca, for example. Super powerful card. Also a card that's just like hilarious to Katakuri because you just rush them down with so much aggro. Yep, good card is very good. 4 copies of Dedan. God, I can't wait for the alt art for this card. Yeah, this card's crazy. Top 5 for a red 1-drop, which we'll go through how many of those there are, but there is a good number of them. And it's then a body you can attack with later on, or then bounce back to your hand and use as counter, so it's really good. And then 3 copies of Brook. This card good. Card very good. You could, like, I think if you were going to play more Vistas, I would swap out one of the Zoros into another Vista, and then probably one of the Brooks. Or one of the Sanjis, one of the 2. If you wanted to bump Vista up to 4, I think there's a very compelling argument to do that. Yeah, Brook, I mean, it's just nuts, super good. Letting you use all your Don in turns when you're trying to recover your board, basically, or just build your board and do really aggressive swings. 4 copies of Nami. This is your top 5 search for Straw Hats, so it's obviously amazingly good. You know, staring at this deck and seeing how many old hearts I need to pick up is just making me very, very sad. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Yeah, this card's just nuts. Consistently getting your pieces, and then of course it's a 1k counter, so you can counter it away, and you can just bounce it, replay it, all that stuff. 4 copies of Otama, one of the best cards in the game. The card is absolutely cracked. 4 copies of Jewelry Bonnie. This is your searcher for the Supernova side of your deck, and it is basically essential for this deck being able to function at full capacity. 4 copies of Chopper, and 3 copies of Beige as your 7 cheap blockers, which you need this many. I think, like, you could play 8, but I think it's maybe a little too many, because they are not the best plays. 3 copies of Nami. This is just so good in just letting you have extra Don to just play with. Like, it is, honestly, it's really, really nice, and just like basically always letting you swing 6 or swing 7 with leader for free and using all your other Don. And then finally, I don't really have good space for this, so we'll just put it here. 1 copy of Rad Beam. And that's the list. In terms of how good this deck is, I mean, as I say, it is insanely powerful. For me, whenever I go into a new format, I just pick up Lore. It's going to be good. I'm looking forward at set 5 format in Japan. It's, again, one of the best decks in the game then, and set 6, I can't imagine it won't be. This is a deck that's absolutely worth putting the time into learning. Talking about the current format, you are Katakuri's worst nightmare. This is the #1 gatekeeper of Katakuri just existing. You eat that matchup for breakfast, and everything else is winnable. Blue Croc and Blue Black Rebecca can be quite spooky if you let them stabilize, but if you rush them down really hard, then you just win, which is why I'm playing more of the Rush Zoros than the starter deck Zoros, even though this is better in the Whitebeard matchup. But even Whitebeard is winnable without it. I mean, fundamentally, things like Rush Luffy are going to get the and Restanding are just going to get the job done. And things like your blockers, there isn't that much cheap removal. There's 5 cost Marco, but if you're playing into Zoro, Zoro actually is your roughest matchup probably. Zoro and Blue Black Rebecca are probably your 2 worst, because Zoro, if you know, they play Fire Fist nowadays, and that's just awful. Because they Gordon, and then they Fire Fist, and suddenly your whole board is gone, and it's really, really hard to recover from that. So yeah, it can be a little bit challenging if you're not able to basically maintain your pluses and basically just keep going after they deal with your whole board. So that's another matchup to be aware of. But by and large, the deck just cooks, it just performs. Very much worth learning, and a really, really fun deck as well. So yeah, I hope you guys found this video useful. If you did, please like the video, subscribe to the channel for more One Piece card game content. Check out my Patreon, linked in the description, for deck guides and early uploads of videos. And that's it for this one. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.